So I'm on my way. I got the call from the dealer a couple days ago. I'm on my way driving about 4.5, 5 hours to pick up my first Rolex. Back in 2007, I was about to get married. This was my first marriage. It didn't work out, obviously. But a week before the day of my wedding, I wanted to buy something for myself to commemorate getting married. And I had been collecting watches. I had a couple. I had my Girard-Perregaux Seahawk. I had my Panerai Luminor, and I wanted to add a Rolex. Growing up, there was 2 or 3 luxury brands that were, did a great job marketing and that I recognized, right? It was Rolex, Tag Heuer, and maybe a couple other brands in the luxury watch space, right? So I wanted to add a Rolex to my collection, and I wanted a Submariner. So I went to a Tourneau boutique to get one, and I was met by a real clever salesperson there. Or maybe I was not clever, maybe I was dumb and stupid. But he convinced me not to go with the Rolex Submariner. He convinced me to go with a Tourneau chronograph, the Aurora chrome chronograph with some dial that was part of some stone that only Tourneau had, and it was one of 499. And he got me. I was convinced that this is actually what I wanted, and it cost the same as a Submariner at the time, right? It was a long time. This is 2007, and so I bought the watch, and I almost immediately regretted buying the watch, and that marriage didn't work out, and so having the watch around for years afterwards will always remind me of that purchase, of that marriage that didn't work out, right? And so stubbornly, I didn't want to admit that as well. So I held on to it, and eventually I let it go. And I sold it for $500. I lost like 95% of what I paid for. But pretty much, anyway, that's a different story I was about to get into. So, for a while I wasn't collecting, watch collecting. Financial crisis and real estate crisis of late 2008 and 2009 wiped me out. I had to start all over again, and I even started a new career, and then got my footing back and met Mrs. Legs and had a couple of kids. And by the time I was ready to get that Rolex back, of course, Rolex becomes unattainable, right? People waiting years for their Rolexes, waiting lists, right? And so, I didn't think it was in the cards for me, or maybe I would have to buy on a secondary market, which I didn't really want to do because of the inflated pricing. But that kind of changed a few months ago, and now I'm here. I'm driving 4.5, 5 hours to pick up my new and my first Rolex. So I'm very, very excited. And here we have it, right? I mean, this is not going to be your typical unboxing that I do. It didn't come in a shipping package. I didn't cut it up with a knife and open it up and pop it out in front of you guys like I typically do, right? This I went to the AD, as you know. So, and when I got there, I had thoughts of, after I parked, just starting to film like a selfie film as I'm walking to the AD. And I decided to go against it. I kind of felt a little bit awkward. It was a big city that I was in, and I just didn't want to have a Target painted on my back, and they weren't going to allow me to film inside the the boutique anyway. So I just decided against it, and to do it like this, giving you kind of like a pseudo unboxing and a first impressions. So let's get right to it. Nice typical white cardboard feeling box, I guess what you call it. The Rolex crown is here in relief, and I think you could probably just make it out there on film. And you have your typical green box. The lip opens up and it says Rolex underneath here. Nice touch. I'm not even sure what kind of material this box is. It's really not that important to me. The presentation, although I feel like there is some importance to it for me, it doesn't have to be spectacular. Like an Omega per se. Some Omega models I've seen, and even my Zenith El Primero, the presentation was actually pretty nice. But this is fine. This is fine. It's not a big deal. So let's open it up, and there she is. Now you do have in here a compartment here with the warranty, the service booklet, and instructions here. And you pop this open, and I have my extra links, the tag here, and there you go. So they did, when they presented me the watch, I looked at it, and the salesperson gauged the sizing of what it would be, and that person brought it back to another room. They took the stickers off for me, which was fine. I don't care. I plan on keeping this watch forever. I think the only people who really care about stickers being still on the watch are people maybe who have different ideas of what they want to do with the watch. But this is, for me, a dream watch, as some of you may know already. So let's open it up, and I'll give you my first impressions. And I got to be honest with you, at first glance, I was like, okay, that's the Submariner. And then the longer I looked at it, the more and more I realized, man, what a beautiful watch this is. It's simple, but beautiful. The 41 millimeter case diameter is just perfect on my wrist, and I'll do a wrist shot shortly. Quick measurements. I'm going to go into more detail in the review, but like I said, 41 millimeter case diameter, I measured just under 48 lug to lug, just over 12 on the thickness, and super comfortable on wrist. This oyster style bracelet, the clasp here is awesome. It has a glide lock system here, and I'll go into more detail with that in the review. The bezel action is probably the best bezel action I have ever had the chance to play with here. My Black Bay 58 is very, very good too. 60 click though, which I appreciate, but with the 120 click, it just feels a lot smoother here. It's unbelievable. I love the crown guards. When I pulled out the crown, it was a nice solid movement, and the winding, it was enough resistance to be satisfying, right? It wasn't too loosey goosey. It was just a nice resistance to it. I love the symmetry of the dial. I honestly, if they said, hey, we have a date version, I would have been absolutely fine with that as well. But this is, the original one that I want, that I spoke to the salesperson about, and that person came through. Just a great looking watch. Let me put this on wrist. Super comfortable, man. I mean, it just looks so good. I get it now. You know what I mean? Like I've tried these on before, but I've never had the pleasure of spending a lot of time with them. But on the way back from my drive, and it was a long one, I had it on, and it just felt great. It just looks great. The proportions, everything, it's awesome. It weighs as configured here. I weighed it was 148 grams. Perfectly fine. Really sits on my wrist great. I love the polished flanks of the case. Everything about this watch, it's awesome. It's everything I thought it would be. Now, I'm in the honeymoon phase, right? So let's just see how I feel. I'm going to wear it on wrist. I'm not going to take this off wrist anytime soon. But in a couple of weeks, I'll do a review, and hopefully I'll have more of a sober analysis on it. Right now, I'm starstruck. I'm in love. So that, keep that in mind. But maybe I'll still be in love and starstruck. I just can't believe it's finally here. It's been 14 years that I've been chasing this off and on. And man, I'm a Rolex guy now. Love the Rolex. Can't wait to get my next Rolex. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. If my channel is new to you and you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and click that bell icon to get updates when I upload new videos. I love making these videos, and I hope you like them too. And also, if you want to support the channel, please buy me a cup of coffee. The link is in the description. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.